What's going on, everybody? This is Walt Blackman, your state representative, and welcome, welcome, welcome. As promised, what I said is true to be known. We are going to open this up for people to be able to call in, be able to be added in, and also they can talk about whatever they want to talk about. They can ask me questions, or if I have an opinion about what else is going on. So let me make sure that we got everything straight because I want to make sure that folks understand what's really going on. Now, again, good evening, everybody. I'm Walt Blackman, and welcome to this show tonight. We're having an honest conversation about candidates' campaigns, half truths, transparency, and our responsibility as voters. Now, these standards apply to everyone seeking public office, to include me. Now, you can submit your questions through Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitch, X, or you can also call in at 435-383-8118 or use the link that I'll provide to actually join in. Now, we got to make sure we are respectful and there are no canned answers, no hiding from the truth or tough questions. Every voter has a right to know what the candidates believe, what we've accomplished, how we voted, and what realistically to expect from us. We also must understand that the differences between a mistake and a lie and a half truth. Now, let me lay that out. A mistake is incorrect information shared without the intent of deceiving. We all know that. And a lie is something that a person knows is false, but represents it anyway and repeats it. And a half truth, well, that can be worse because it's giving false information, and the public will base their information or decision on that half truth. The question is afterwards, do they correct that statement? Do they give you the full facts? Do you have the information you need to make an informed decisions? Also, we need to understand that when serious accusations are made about a candidate, ask for original documents, complete videos, voting records, reasonable sources, screenshots, edits, clips, anonymous posts are rarely the entire story. This is especially important when examining legislation. A bill title does not always reveal everything in its content. Amendments, spending, mandates, or constitutional concerns may explain why someone voted against it or for it. Before criticizing a vote, examine the entire bill and allow legislators to explain their decision. Votes deserve a complete story, not half of it. Transparency also means knowing who pays for a political advertisement, mailers, and social media attacks. Candidates cannot demand transparency from their opponents while refusing to practice it themselves. Now, no candidate control every supporter, but candidates should correct false information being spread on their behalf. Leadership means rejecting dishonest attacks, even when those attacks might provide a political advantage for your opponents. We need fair accountability. Now, it's simple. Identify the exact claims. This is something you should be doing all the time. You need to find the original source of those claims. Examine the complete evidence. When you are looking at a statement or a flyer, and consider the full content. If you are not doing that, and if you're not allowing a person to respond to accusations or allegations, we need to make sure that we have correct information and correct the falsehoods. Now, I want to talk to you about campaign promises. Now, campaign promises also deserve careful examination. Does the office have the authority to fulfill that requirement? Who else must approve it? Is there an action plan or only a slogan? Now, leadership means being honest about what can be accomplished, what cannot be accomplished, and what it means to fulfill the progress going forward. Now, I won't hold another candidate to a standard that I am unwilling to meet. I'll answer reasonable questions about my record, explain my votes, and distinguish documents of facts. If I make a factual mistake, I'll acknowledge it and I'll correct the record. Now, voters also have a responsibility. Voting is a right because we need to be informed and we need to be responsible. But do not base rumors, anonymous posts, edit videos, personal attacks on whether you like or dislike a candidate. Examine each candidate by policies, qualifications, experience, record, judgment, character, and understanding the office. Ask yourself, does this candidate understand the job? Are the candidate's plans realistic? Does the candidate tell the truth when it's inconvenient? And does the candidate accept responsibility? Does the candidate have the judgment and the temperament to serve? We can't demand honesty from candidates while rewarding dishonesty with our clicks, shares, comments, and votes. Every candidate is human. Every person has made mistakes. Now, the important questions are whether someone acknowledges that mistakes or accepts responsibility or makes things worse by lying. Now, I'm going to go to scripture. John 7:8-7 says, he who is without sin among you, let him throw a stone at her. And in Luke 6:3-7, that teaches us, and I know a lot of people know this, judge not, and you shall not be judged. Condemn, and you shall not be condemned. Forgive, and you will be forgiven. We don't walk on water. Accountability means forgiveness. And accountability and forgiveness are not opposite. We can demand honesty without becoming cruel. We can correct wrongdoing without recognizing a person's weaknesses. And we need to understand redemption. So let's make sure that we are doing the right thing, and let's make sure that we are giving folks the opportunity to tell their story. Now, again, this is about transparency. This is about allowing you to call in, talk about what your thoughts are, ask those questions that need to be asked. Again, you can call in at 435-838-8118. And I'll make sure that I will put that at the bottom of the screen along with the link so you can come up, you can get called in, you can, have a conversation. Okay. And I am doing this as long as it takes for folks to come in and do what they would like to do. Okay, let me go ahead and put this banner up there so you have that. Want to make sure that you have that information that you need. And you can call in at that number and you can ask me any question you want. And I think it's important for candidates to do this. I think it's important for you to know what your candidate's going to do. As we know, election season is here. And if we are not, I would say, exercising the truth or letting folks know exactly where our positions are, exactly what we are going to do while we're in office, we're going to have real problems with that. So let me make sure that I put this other information in here for you, so you can, if you want to come on, you are more than welcome. And I encourage that because sometimes we get people that will say things and really don't want to come up and talk about what needs to be talked about. Let me find this real quick. I want to make sure that you have an opportunity to come in and do this and talk. All right. Now, I want you to understand some comments can't be posted on some platforms. It's kind of hard to do that for me to see your comments. However, if you feel like you want to come up, then come on up. All you need to do is click on that link, and that link will bring you to this form right here. And you'll be able to come up and ask your questions. We can have a conversation. Or again, you can call in and you can ask your questions. You can ask your questions of me. You can ask your questions. If I have an opinion of another candidate, you can do that. I'm not going to lie about the candidate. I'm not going to say anything bad about the candidate. However, I will speak the truth. And the truth is, what did it say? The truth shall set you free. It's important that we understand that. Okay. Now, if we don't take advantage of these opportunities, now I usually do this so folks uh, know what's really happening. Because I got to tell you, I am really, really tired of folks making up their own stories or listening to a Facebook, Twitter, a tweet, or what have you, and they're not doing their research. Because as I said, we have a responsibility too as voters. Even I have that same responsibility because I vote as well. I don't want to rely on someone's rumor or what have you if I can't, if I'm going to vote, because you got to understand, this is serious business. Okay, we're talking about your lives. We're talking about education. We're talking about public safety. We are talking about things that matter. And I want to give you the opportunity to come up and ask me questions about anything you want to ask. Come up on the panel and we can have a discussion about this. And I think it's important to be able to do that. All you got to do is put your text in. Now, remember, you can send your text through my YouTube. You can send it through Walt Blackman 4AZ LD7. You can send it through Kick. You can send it through StreamYard. Or you can just click on the link that I provided, or you can call in if you cannot send your message. You are more than welcome to do that. And I will stay on here as long as we need to do that, because I think it's important to get the truth out. Straight from the horse's mouth. I think it's important to do that. Okay? During this campaign, I have heard so many untruths that it makes my head spin. During this campaign, and I'm not just talking about the campaign for Legislative District 7. I'm talking overall. I have seen ads that would make a dead person roll in their grave. I have seen debates that if you talked like that to your parents in some of these debates, you'd probably get slapped in the mouth. I've seen folks lie about policy when they know it's a lie. I've seen folks, and I've heard of folks. Let me fix this camera a little bit. There we go. I've read posts from people who don't like something that a person said or done or a candidate, and they make up a lie about it. That's not the way we should be doing business. What we should do is try to get the right policy. Now, again, if you are voting for somebody simply because you like them, or not voting for them because you don't like them, guess what? You are making a terrible decision. You shouldn't vote for someone based on personality. This isn't a personality contest. It's about who has the experience, who has the right policy, who understands the district or the state, who wants to move your goals forward, who wants to help you with that, who wants to give you the tools, the resource to be able to do that. If we are voting for people because we like them or don't like them, again, that's the wrong answer. That is the wrong answer. I told you where you can go and find out my record. You can go to www.azledge.gov. You can pull up my record. You can go to where candidates are speaking. You can go to their websites. You can go to their Twitter feeds. You can go to all these resources and find out where that candidate stands. But let's be realistic when we are asking questions of candidates. Let's make sure that those questions that we are asking, that those candidates are in their realm of responsibility, that they can do these things. Because if they can't, number one, they should tell you they can't. And if they can, they should be able to get these things done. And if they can't get them done, don't beat them upside the head. Ask them pointing questions. What happened? Why couldn't you get this done? So on and so forth. Now I want to talk about, let me talk about some of the things that I have done. And these are all verified. You can verify all these things. And let me pull this up really quick. Let me pull this up. I want to make sure I give the right information. I want to make sure I give you all this right information. We got to make sure we do this, y'all. Got to make sure we get folks. I haven't received any type of questions. I've got 10 people watching. Not sure if you're able to get on this. Now, I know I have 10 people on X. Again, X will not allow me to send for you to send a direct post to this. So you can go on my Facebook and send it. You can go to my YouTube and send it. You can go to my Twitch and send a question. You can do those things. You can also call in. As I said, or you can, I'm going to put this post up. I'm going to put this link up here again. All you got to do is put that link in your phone or your computer. And I will get a message to pull you up and invite you up. And we can talk about these things. We can talk about what's going on. Now, if you don't want to come up, I got it. Okay. However, don't be that person who says that you don't get the information. This is a two-way street. This is a two-way street. Now, I want to talk about some of the things that I have done. Okay, some of the major accomplishments as today from the Arizona House and things that I've been involved with, and we'll go from there. Okay, so I will tell you that the first thing is the tax relief and accountability. So we secured $1.43 billion in tax income for 4 years. We've eliminated the tax on tips, eliminated tax on overtime, also increased the standard deduction for dependent tax credits. We also created an additional deduction for child care expenses. I've been part of that. Expanded tax relief for seniors and retirees, rejected proposed new taxes and fees, including increases involving short-term rentals. We've done those. Sports betting. We've also done the responsible thing as Republicans and passed a secure, a stable, funded budget that folks can be proud from of the Republican caucus. Now, we've also held the budget growth to about 3% below the combined rate of what we have seen in the past and below the combined rate of the population growth and inflation. So we've done a lot of these things. You can go to www.azledge.gov. We talked about, parental choice. That is a big thing. We protected the Empowerment Scholarship Account programs for parental school choice. These are things that have actually gotten done. These are things that I've actually gotten done myself. When we're talking about public safety and law enforcement, we provided additional funding for the Arizona Department of Public Safety. Also, we continued that at a 4% growth in pay. I wanted to do 15% because I believe that our officers, our firefighters, our correctional officers are underpaid. We also need to make sure that they are with parity. We also increased the support for our county sheriffs and local border security operations. These are things that I have done, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I'm not saying this to brag. What I am saying is all you need to do is check the record. Now, I've often heard some candidates, particularly in my race, say some things that are just not true. And I just want to clarify some of this. And I really, I'm not going to say names, so I'm just going to clarify. I'm going to make some things crystal clear. When writing a bill, the only person that can sponsor that bill is the lawmaker. Now, the Constitution does say that any resident of the state of Texas, the state of Arizona, can bring an ideal to that lawmaker. You can do that. You can write it on a handkerchief. You can sit down with the lawmaker. You can go to the stakeholder meetings, but only the lawmaker's name is going to be on that bill. And the only person that can vote for that bill is that lawmaker. Now, it's really disingenuous when I hear folks in our campaign run around and say that they've written X amount of bills, that they've had X amount of bills passed. You've helped with the process. You didn't do it by yourself. Now, the grace that I am giving is, number one, I'm not going to say the person's name. And number two, I do appreciate when residents come to lawmakers and say they have an ideal and can we run with this ideal, or can I help you get this bill off the ground? There's nothing wrong with that. And there are a lot of folks that do that. But you can't take credit for something that you didn't entirely do. And that is part of the half-truth that I'm talking about. Another issue that I find is that the only candidate that has constituents is the candidate that's already in office. If you are running for office, you seek to get constituents with their vote, and that is a good goal to reach. But you shouldn't go to organizations or events and say you have constituents and the constituent told you this, because that is being disingenuous and you may be giving the wrong impression to some folks. That's really what I really wanted to get out. Okay. And I think it's important to know that. Okay. Now, again, you can call 435-383-8113, or you can click on the link, come on up, and we can have a discussion. I am offering this. We've been on the air for almost 30 minutes or 20 minutes or so. And we have 11 people watching from what I can see. I appreciate you all that are watching. If you have questions, come on up. If you can't get your text through, come on up. Call in. Just want to make sure that that folks can still get on. My phone is still connected to the program. You can come on up. What are your questions? What questions do you have of me? What questions do you have of the process? Tuesday is election day. Are you prepared to vote? Have you done your homework? Are you just looking at ads, social media posts, or are you actually doing your homework? Are we smart in our decision making when we are voting for folks? And a lot of people are. And sometimes people will need help in making their decisions. There's a difference between sitting down with somebody who may know, okay, what's going on or who to vote for or who else or what have you than just taking it off of Facebook or saying, well, I don't like this person, so you shouldn't like them. So because I don't like the person, you shouldn't vote for the person or you should vote for the person. That's not the right thing to do. Look at our government now. Let's take a look at the federal government. Let's take a look at unelected bureaucrats. Now, those unelected bureaucrats were put there by somebody, and those somebodies are elected officials, either being confirmed in the Senate or recommended. Did we know that that was going to happen the first time? Probably not. However, if we have lawmakers that are continually doing these types of things, that could be hurting our country, why aren't we changing that with our votes? Why aren't we learning from what has happened in the past? I think it's important to be able to do that. Okay. We have the AZDCOS deal. Let me see. Let me put that up there. Hi, Representative Blackman. I just tuned in. Thanks for tuning in. Do appreciate that. I really do appreciate that. Also, giving up the stream where you can jump on there yourself if you'd like. We can definitely talk about some things. We can talk about whatever you want to talk about. We can talk about the DCS situation. We can talk about the votes. We can talk about the election. Who's going to be the next governor? Who's going to be your legislator? Who's going to be your next Congress, your representative in Congress? Those are all important. But however, what else is important is your local elections. We can't forget about that. We can't forget about who we want for mayor, who we want on the city council. Who do we want for our county board of supervisors? Who do we want for a recorder? So on and so forth. That is our responsibility. And I will keep saying that is our responsibility as, let me see this. It's our responsibility as voters, as concerned citizens, to make sure we do this, to make sure we have the information we need. Again, you can call 435-383-8118, or you can come up on the panel and we can have a discussion about whatever you want to talk about so you can be informed. If we're talking about other elections, if we're talking about other races, we can do that. If you want to tune in, you can go to my website, www.waltblackman.com. You can go to my Facebook, which is streaming at the bottom, Walt Blackman for AZ. You can go to my X, Blackman for AZ. You can go to my YouTube, Walt Blackman. There are many, many sources that you can go to if you want to be involved, you want to be part of it, and you want to talk to your state legislator. I represent Legislative District 7. I want to hear your vote. I want to hear your voice. And it's important to be able to hear that. So let's see. We still have folks that are here. And again, if you're tuning in, and again, if you can't get through on a text, on the chat, if you can't get through on the chat, please call in. You can do that. You are more than welcome to do that. We've got 15 folks on. So we got some new people on. What are your questions? What are your questions about the election? What are your questions about whatever district you're running in? If you want to know about a particular candidate, I'll look it up for you. If you want to know about me, I'll talk about my record. What I want to talk about, though, let's do this. I know you can't do a show of hands, but I know that a lot of you have received flyers and mailers and so on and so forth. I get them too. And a lot of time, those mailers are not accurate. A lot of times, those mailers are directed to a particular population or demographic, policy minded folks to fit the narrative of the candidate. Now, I'm not saying they're bad, but don't just use that flyer or mailer to make your decision. That should be a guide. That should be one of the resources that you use. However, if you are voting on someone based on a flyer or a mailer that comes in the mail, are we truly doing our due diligence? And then on the flip side of that, some of that is good. And on the flip side of it, I've seen mailers that basically destroy someone's reputation. Now, is it right to destroy someone's reputation, destroy their lives simply to get a vote? Some people don't care. Some people say, oh, I don't care. It's all right. Shoot. Some people say, well, there's a line we can't cross. What's that line? I don't think it's worth it to destroy someone's life to be in public office. I just don't. Life is hard enough. It's hard enough to get people to volunteer. And I'm not just talking in public office. I'm talking about as precinct committeemen, PCs, or folks that knock on doors, or folks that go out and put up signs. It's hard enough for people to volunteer that will step up and volunteer. Okay. Just tried calling a number and I got a message to leave a message. So let's do, I know you don't want to give me your number. I don't know why it does that. So let's do this. I am going to do that. I'm going to do something I wouldn't normally do. I am going to put my number there. And that's the number right there. That's it. You call that number, it'll go to my phone. Why? Because that is my number. And some folks say, why are you putting your number out there for people to see it? Guess what? This is how serious I am about my job and about hearing from you. So try to call that number. And if it rings, I'll pick up. And we can have a conversation. And thanks for trying to call in AZDOC. Again, you can call my number to try to get in. Give it a call. And we'll see if we can talk. Let me know if you're having a problem getting in. If you're on this other website, you can call there. Or, just simply come on up. You can come on up. Because I've made it so folks can, here's the link. I've made it so folks can get in there and just be part of the conversation. I've made it, you can do that. Petra, I want to thank you for being there. Came in a bit late. Is there a specific topic or discussion tonight? Yeah. It is whatever you want to talk about because of the elections. The topic can be what questions you have for me. It could be where do I see a particular race going? How do I see the future of Arizona? What do you expect for a representative or someone who is in office to do? So the meaning, the theme behind this evening is about you. And I don't care where you live. I don't care what district you're in, because when you serve, you not only serve your district, your LD, you serve the state. So I am here for your questions, your comments, your concerns. If you can't dial in, all you need to do is click that link that I gave you, https://streamyard.com. All you got to do is click it and it'll bring you up. Or you can call the number that I put on there for you to call. 928-241-4779. Okay. Or you can, again, you can pull that up. Now, let's see. Petra says, excellent. Map watchers show the LD looking rather weak on the Republican side of the week. Any ideals on that? So I will tell you, typically, Republicans will get their early ballots and hold on to them. And we won't see an uptick until the day of the election. Okay, when people will bring in their ballots and hand them off. Now, that can be good or bad. Oh, man, I don't know why it's going straight to voicemail. I am so sorry about that. I am so sorry about that. Let's see. If you want to text me your number, I'll call you. It won't show up when I text it. I'll call you. Again, Republicans tend to turn in their ballots on election day. And when they do that, the count does not spike until the counts start. So some folks think that's a good idea. Some folks think it's a bad idea. The bottom line is don't forget to turn your ballot in. And, with people being busy with life, we tend to see that. Okay. Democrats tend to send their ballots in early. So that's why you will see a higher count of Democrats showing that they've returned their ballots and that they are doing what they typically do. Now, we got to understand something. Democrats are going to especially turn their ballots in pretty quickly this year because of what's on the ballot, what's on the propositions, and what is happening in our federal legislature or our federal branches with the Congress and the Senate. Okay. Now, again, if we lose the House and the Senate at the federal level, they're going to see a lot of interesting things happen. If we keep one of the chambers, we may see a split government. If we can keep both chambers, it'll be as it is. However, I really see the Democrats at the federal level making a push on trying to let me turn that off real quick. Trying to change the way we are doing our votes, or not change the way we're doing our votes, but trying to make a push on that and get out there ahead of the rest of the game. Okay, it's important that we understand that is happening. Now, for Republicans, get out there and turn your ballots in. What are you waiting on? You don't have to mail them in. You can go and drop them off. See, and here's the thing about Arizona. Some states do the 1 day, 1 vote, which I am for. It takes us a month to vote in Arizona. A month. Now, not only do we have a month that we are voting, it takes us until Christ returns for us to get the ballot returns or the returns on the election. My first election, I used to stay up all night waiting on the returns. And so I'm like, you know what? this is not only just going to be a night, it's going to be the next day, the next day, the next day, the next day. Now, the Senate President, Warren Peterson, offered a bill to be able to get our votes back that night on election day. But that was vetoed. Let me see if I got something. Nope. And that was okay. Here we go. Let me do this. Let me do this. I'm gonna call you up. And this will not be on your screen. You don't have to worry about that. Okay. So let's see what's going on.
Hello, Representative Blackman.
Hello, and thanks for picking up. I appreciate that, and thanks for being part of the show. So what are your questions? And it can be about anything.
Well, I don't have any questions, but I just wanted to let people know kind of an easy, educated way to go vote. And it's something that my family has done since I can remember. My grandpa was at the, manning voting booth until he was 96 years old.
Sure.
So we're a very involved family with, politics and issues that matter.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what I would do is, and I watched my grandparents do this, my parents, and I do this, and my son has watched me do it. You sit down and you research, all the propositions and whatever. Because what tends to happen when people get into a voting booth is they go, oh no, wait, what? I'm going to have to read all this, and how was I going to do this? So you just do all that at home. And then you take a piece of paper and you write down, the prop numbers and just put yes, no.
Yep.
So when you get into that voting booth, you have everything right there in front of you. I mean, you can take a piece of paper inside the voting booth with you.
Yes, you can.
So it's all right there, right in front of you. So when you have that ballot, it's not intimidating anymore because you don't have to reread everything and make an on-the-spot decision. And that also, I want to point this out because a lot of people completely skip over the judges section.
Yeah.
And we always say, vote no on all judges for them being reinstated.
Yeah.
That's how, we don't have a whole lot of trust in that judicial system. But, I'm not telling people how to vote or anything, but just do your research.
Exactly.
And write it down on a piece of paper. Keep it simple and just take that paper into the voting booth with you, and you'll be out of there in no time, and that ballot will no longer intimidate you.
Exactly. Now you've done a lot of work in the child development or the Department of Child Safety, and I've
done a lot of work against them. You mean?
Yeah, against them. Yeah. So when I talk about folks getting involved, this is exactly what I am talking about. When this young lady we met some time ago, and we're still doing work on this next session. Getting involved and understanding. And then when there's something on a ballot about DCS, this person, I don't want to say your name on the air, understands the importance of it, understands the importance of getting involved, and you've done that, and you are a great patriot to do that. And I appreciate your work in this space.
Thank you.
And it's always an honor to work with you. And I like what you shared about, we've got to get involved.
Well, and people need to realize too that, if they have a focus and if they have an issue, like um, my issue is the Department of Child quote safety and judges and even, attorneys in the bar, that every person that's running for office is going to affect their focus and their issue somehow, some way.
Exactly. Exactly. And then when we look at this, I think folks need to understand, they think that the federal government has all this power over you. And they really don't, because the states have more authority at the local level. If you look around the state of Arizona, and I know you have, um, uh, everything that is done in the state of Arizona, the majority of those policies, the law, the legislation, comes from the state level. Driver's license, voting, uh, just
Taxes,
exactly,
everything.
taxes, everything.
Hmm.
So that's why folks have to get involved, and I appreciate your involvement in this, and I appreciate you allowing me to call out to you. And whenever I have one of these shows, please let me know, and I will dial you up. And as you can see, I'm trying to get the kinks worked out, and
Sure.
we'll still do it. However, I'm just so glad that you are part of this, and that
Thank you very
you've been
much.
working.
It's a relief for us to have um, finally gotten the ear of legislators after working at this for almost 10 years now. And that's the other thing, frustration can set in with people, and you just got to keep going,
Yeah, we do.
because we have been working trying to get the ears of legislators and actually um, educating them
Yeah.
for, like I said, 10 years.
Hmm.
And it was just this last year that we finally felt like we were being heard.
Yeah, and we should be doing more than that. Okay, it shouldn't take years for that to happen. It really shouldn't. And
Well, there's certain topics that are that were kind of perceived, in past years as kind of taboo
mhm,
to even bring up and criticize.
yeah,
And people just they weren't ready to hear it. And they were looking at us like we had three heads.
yeah,
Um, so we get up there and speak, and they're just like, okay, time's up, goodbye.
yeah,
Kind of hit the door.
mhm,
Um, but we didn't give up. And so I just want to encourage people that just, if you need to take a break from it, take a break. But if you have an issue, and if there's a topic, and if there's an agency, state agency, that you feel legislators need to be educated on, and they need to be kind of kicked in the butt a little bit to dig into things, it, eventually it will happen.
it sure will.
So don't lose hope. I want to put out there to
It
people.
it sure will. Hey, thanks for the conversation. I think we got some more questions that I'm going
Thank
to.
you very
No problem. And remember, call anytime, and I do appreciate you.
Okay, well, you have my cell phone number
I do.
now.
And thank you
And if
so
I can
much.
help you out in any way, please
I
reach out.
appreciate that. Okay. God bless.
Okay, thank you. You too. Bye bye.
Okay. Bye bye. Okay, that was a great call. Another question from Petra. I hope I'm saying the name right. What is the plan for the continued increase in the flock surveillance in the LD area? Do the local towns look to continue them? So let me pull up my notes. I do have some notes on that, and I just want to make sure that I am giving you the proper information. Okay, and I'm not just telling you something wrong, but I do have some notes. I had a meeting about this about a week ago, 2 weeks ago, and I want to make sure I got it. Let me see. Let me see where those notes are at. Yeah. Yeah, this is the one. This is the one that is not good. So again, what is the plan for the continued increase in the flock surveillance? Okay, so as you know, flock safety is the cameras that we are talking about, and it captures a vehicle's characteristics. So we're talking about the color, the make, the model, and the potential benefits of flock surveillance are recovery of a stolen vehicle, the location of a missing child, identify suspects in violent crimes. So it does those things. However, the concerns of this and some critics have raised these issues. Number one, the privacy, the data retention, the oversight in it. There's not much public reporting in it, and it has a substantial amount of mission creep. So the systems itself that are installed for one purpose could gradually be used for border surveillance if the policies aren't clearly defined. These policies have to be clearly defined on this. So I would say some of the possibilities or the solutions that we should look at, and I actually pulled these notes up from some research using and I'm very transparent using resources on the internet. Some of that's requiring public reporting for camera efficiency, setting limits on data retention, requiring audits of logs, restricting the use of legitimate law enforcement purposes, establishing penalties for unauthorized access or misuse, requiring local governments and governing bodies to approve before deployments, and mandating annual privacy and performance audits. Those are some of the things that are in my notes and in pulling information off of research on the web and then just talking to folks that we can do that. So I'm not sure, Pitcher, if that answered your question. Okay. Other than the continued increase, maybe, legislation that puts some guardrails around the increase of the flock surveillances, ensuring that privacy is maintained in a way that folks are not going to feel threatened when one of these camera flashes go off. And I will tell you, these things are already out there too. I mean, you can look at Google Maps and Google World or Google Earth, and it will pinpoint um, if somebody's walking or what that person is doing. The quick story, Petra, what I want to say, we're talking about surveillance. I was in Afghanistan, and we were sitting, I would say, 100 miles from a target, and I was in the Tactical Operations Center. That wasn't my place of duty, but however, I just walked in there and wanted to see what's going on because I had a clearance. Not secret squirrel stuff, but clearance. And I saw these guys looking, using surveillance and flock surveillance, looking at a person riding a bike to where they were able to zero in on what was in the basket of this bike rider. So if the military has this, I'm sure it's being used on us. And the question is, do we increase it and use it in the state? I know that Senator Rogers proposed a bill to do away with that. And so we don't have those surveillance. And some of the reasons are some of the reasons why I talked about earlier about the safety issue of it. So I hope that answered your question. I think something else we need to know in LD7 is what cities are actually using those, or what towns are using those. Have there been any crimes solved based on that? So there's a lot. There's a lot we need to ask. Okay, perhaps there's another time to discuss in future details been in technologies for more than 2 decades, and there's other critical points that have been identified, and they should be addressed. And thank you for doing that and being in that field. And see, and this is what I'm talking about right here with the caller we talked about getting involved, and what Petra has said. Okay, she's in this space. She understands what's going on in this, and getting suggestions from constituents will help move good policy forward. And I look forward to talking with you on this, and getting smarter on the type of technologies that are out there. They've been out there for 2 decades, as you said, and some of the points that we need to address. So, and I appreciate that. And she also goes on to say, can help you identify what towns are using them. And that's important. That's important. Okay. And on this whole thing, have residents express a support or concerns for these things. And that's important. We need to be able to know that, because if we're writing laws where there's a legit concern, and we haven't gone to the folks that are subject matter experts in technology that are in this space, and we're just writing stuff just to write it, we're wasting taxpayer dollars, we're building government, and we are not doing the right thing as lawmakers. Appreciate that, and thank you for your information. And another Army veteran, thank you for your service. Thank you for standing up. Only 1% of the U.S. population per capita raises their hand and writes a blank check to this country. I want to thank you for doing that. I want to thank you for all you have done for this country, and thanks for jumping on. So, we had some great questions tonight. I'm coming up on an hour right now. It's about 7:30 right now. This is supposed to go to 7:30. I'm going to kind of wait for a little bit, see if anybody wants to jump on, ask those questions, and move forward with this. And I will tell you what, I will do this again on Monday, and I will do it again. Well, matter of fact, let me do this. Let me check and see what's on the calendar for old Walt. So I will be back tomorrow night. I'll be back tomorrow night at 7:30, and I'll make sure I post that. I will also be back on Sunday, same time, 7:30. And I'll also be back on Monday, because Tuesday is election. And I want folks to have the information that they need. I want them to be able to make informed decisions. And I will be here until it gets done, so folks have the information that they need to go out and make informed votes, informed decisions. Oh, hold on. One of my best friends who's a senator. Oh my goodness. Riding first class. Hold up. That's what I need. I need to be riding first class. Okay. Sorry about that. So I will be here tomorrow, 7:30. 7:30. I have an event in Globe. I'll be out there speaking in the morning, and I will be back on here. Oh, we're getting lots of views on YouTube, the YouTube channel. That's awesome. That's awesome. So again, I will be here tomorrow, 7:30, and we will do this again. Spread the word. Let me take this off for you. Spread the word. Come on in. Ask the questions. Again, I will put up a new link if folks want to come up and have a conversation. I can bring up 2 people at a time, and we can have conversation. And if it's just us having these conversations, then that's a start. And that's what we would need to do. So I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. I thank you for your support. I am blessed to be able to help you wherever you are in the state. I think it's time that we bring our state together, and we bring it together in a way that doesn't leave people out. You know, George Washington said that parties are the worst thing, or could be the worst thing for this country. And as we are seeing, it is. And we could talk about that tomorrow as well. But in short, when parties get in the way of good policy and helping people, parties, whether you're a Democrat, a Republican, an independent, Green Party, Libertarian, when that gets in the way of helping everyday Americans because of party ideology, then we are doing a disjustice to folks that we should be caring about. Now, I know that some folks may not like that. However, we are all Americans. And we all live in this melting pot of a country. We all have inherited rights through the Constitution. And we all have a responsibility to respect the rights of others. The Constitution does not belong to one party or one ideology or one side of the spectrum. The Constitution belongs to every American, every citizen that walks with the title or citizenship of being a citizen of the United States of America. Let's remember that. And let's remember to exercise some kindness when we are working with each other. I'll see you tomorrow night, 7:30, same bat channel, same bat place. And hopefully we can get the phone lines to work where you can call in. And again, if not, you can text me your number and I will call you tomorrow. Everybody, take care.